So does testosterone make you angry or angrier or any of those sorts? I've been on T for 8 years, and it's a very interesting conversation to see because there's some guys who don't do T, and that's your choice. Some guys who start T and stop it, another variety. So there's this conversation of guys who are afraid to medically transition because they're afraid of the whole anger aspect of T. And I've done my research, I've done my Googles, and I don't know about science based around like hormones and gender because they would say, some of that stuff is very like myth based, I could say personally. Um, as far as that, but I understand the concerns. When I originally started T, you had to see an endocrinologist. If you don't know that, you can ask them a lot of questions. You can ask about the side effects. I remember side effects, but none of it was about anger. It was more towards your heart health and things like that. You can, get heart disease and stuff like that when you're on testosterone because men are more likely to get heart disease, heart issues. That's a fact there. As far as being angrier, the science behind that, I personally wouldn't feel comfortable saying, yeah, tea will make you more angry because in my personal experience, no. And I feel like, your experience can be different, but to say that it's a solid fact down that testosterone makes you angry, I don't believe that. I believe there's mood swings, yes, but you can have mood swings on either type of hormone from testosterone to estrogen. You could have mood swings for both of those things, not just testosterone. And of course, if you're not checking your levels and things like that, or if you get off T or if you get off estrogen, like if you just stop your hormones randomly, your mood is going to change a bit. That's true. That's a fact. But to just say, hey, testosterone makes you angry, I wouldn't say that's proven to be a fact because I think that sometimes scares guys from transitioning or wanting to start T because like they think they're going to turn into an Incredible Hulk. I don't think that's going to be. I don't think that's what's going to happen. Um, I think that no matter what you decide to do, whether you start hormones or not, learning how to regulate your emotions should be something that you down the line and work on. I can say that I had a lot of anger issues as a teenager, and I didn't start T till I was 19. So I was much angrier as a teenager than I am now. But also, I'm an adult. I've been to therapy. I've learned how to regulate my emotions. But being an angry teenager and then starting testosterone at 19, I didn't get angrier. And the truth is, so going to therapy after all these years, I realized a lot of my anger was actually anxiety. So I feel like that's another thing. Sometimes we mistake anger. We mistake anxiety as anger. That's another thing. And especially if you present in the world as a black man, does we don't really get the space to be anxious. It's kind of always going to translate into anger and aggression. A lot of the times, in all the discussions that I've had with my therapist, it was just around anxiety. You're having anxiety attacks. You're having these different things, and to the person looking on the outside looking in, an anxiety attack can look like a breakdown, an anger moment when you're actually just anxiety. So for me personally, I dealt with anxiety, and also dealt with depression. And like I said, being presenting in the world as a black man, that thing can translate to anger. So I'm very comfortable with this language around saying testosterone will make you angry or testosterone will make you angrier. I don't believe those things. Again, like I said, it's my personal experience, but also I don't feel like science backs the whole certain hormones make you feel certain emotions thing. But again, I could be wrong, but I just want this video to be kind of educational for people learning about testosterone. That's one of the biggest factors there. I did experience mood swings. I do kind of, when it comes to crying, I don't cry as much. That's another thing, though. That's a shared experience. I can say that a lot of other guys have said they don't cry as much as they used to. I can't say that, but has it made me angrier? Can't really say that. But crying, for sure, I don't really cry as much as I used to, but I've never really been much of a crier. Well, when I was a kid, it's a different story. I was a crybaby, and I kind of got older, kind of sort of suppressed my emotions, and then once I got on testosterone, I was like, I already kind of suppressed my emotions, but again, all this kind of ties into emotional, learning how to regulate your emotions. Sorry, emotional regulation. All right, I'm jumbling my words right now. Emotional regulation is the key factor here, whether you're going to be on hormones or not and having a therapist and having someone to talk to about all these things. We can't just say I can't start a tea because my anger is going to get worse or I'm not going to be a happy person. No, I was just figuring out those things yourself first, but don't walk around with the stigma or this fear that testosterone is going to turn you into the Incredible Hulk when it actually could be something different. It could be personality disorder. It could be something else that can make you feel these things, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with needing help, but I just don't want people to blame hormone therapy for those type of things when I feel like that's not the root of the issue here when it comes to a lot of those things. And my past and who I've been and my anger and my anxiety, all these different things. Haven't really been proud of those things. But to have the platform to share, say, hey, I worked on those things, I've gotten better. And so anybody watching this can feel, relatable. Hey, I can change my ways. I can do better because we are so, as a society, shame based. We shame people, and we don't realize the things people need is kind of have that guidance to say, hey, if you need help, ask for help. Nothing wrong with that. The best thing to start is to realize you have a problem and go from there. But you cannot blame all that on just hormones and um, testosterone. So, long story short, I did not mean this video to be this long. I do not believe testosterone makes people angry or angrier. Um, but yeah, so hopefully I'll do more topics around my transition and how I've been feeling. If y'all have any other questions, feel free to drop them in the comments and maybe I can make a whole video about that. Hopefully this is helpful for anyone out there wanting to learn. But yeah, so thank y'all for tuning in and watching and let me ramble for 5+ minutes. Y'all have a good rest of y'all day.